because they know what it's like to be a small business when things go kablooey and you're wondering where the next dollar is coming from. That's what they're doing at Blue Frost IT. Please call them at 616-200-8550 or online at bluefrostit.com to them. As well, you got to eat, man. The Kent County Health Department wants to make sure that you've got all the food in order during these troubled times. Some of you might be like, man, I'm not working. I don't know where the next batch of food is coming from. Well, the WIC program, tried and true, ready to go for you. Tried and true, ready to go for you. It's like a rhyme. I could be like the advertising pitch man for WIC. You know, and that needs to be updated. I've talked about it before. WIC stands for Women, Infant, Children. It needs to be Men, Women, Infant, Children. MWIC. Whatever. WIC seems to work. You know what it is? They give you a debit card. It's loaded up. You can pay for all your staples each and every month. Milk, bread, cheese, eggs, grains, pastas, things like that. All for free. We pay into it. It's there for you to utilize when you need it. Call the Kent County Health Department at 616-632-7200 or your local health department. This is a nationwide initiative to keep people fed, okay? You might be utilize these things. Food banks, WIC program, unemployment, it's all there for you. You pay into it your whole damn life. That's what it's there for, okay? Take advantage of that. Some of that stuff is a pain in the ass, so that unemployment program, my God. Yeah, I think I'll wait on hold for 9 hours today. Honestly, I would rather pick up shit than wait on hold for 9 hours. I would rather pick up shit for the same amount of money. Actually, human feces. I don't know why it would be on the ground. With my bare hands than have to be on hold for 9 hours. Sorry, that's just me. You can, though. If that's what you want to do. If you want your job to be waiting on hold, go for it. Okay, thank you again to the Kent County Health Department. Okay, on your mark, get set, go!
And now, here's a guy who has never won a congeniality award at any radio station, anywhere.
I will fight you in the street.
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast with your host, Eric Zane.
Thank you, John. Hey, welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. This is a daily free podcast covering news, nonsense, and my views on abortion. No. News, nonsense, and my personal adventures. That's what we do each and every day and what we've done for the past, I don't know. I guess 1 year, 3 months, and a bunch of days. Yeah, I've kind of been self-quarantined for that amount of time. So much for making me part of your day. I do it live, everyone. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live every day on 3 video sources. That would be Facebook, facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page, brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair, Grand Rapids Hybrid. On Twitter, that's a Blue Frost IT joint. That's a Periscope video, at Eric Zane Show on Twitter. I'm on YouTube, sponsor yet to be named. I do have a sponsor. They just haven't gone public yet. They're in a holding pattern because, And on Instagram, brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. If you could subscribe to all of those things, my God, would you help me? And if you could occasionally, seriously, I know this sounds stupid as shit, but I've found an avenue to make money on YouTube. YouTube's ever-changing, how they allow you to publish material that has potential to get sponsors. And back in the day, back in the old 2016 era, you just throw anything on there and they pay you if enough people watch. Nowadays, you need 4,000 hours of cumulative viewing time. I'm not there yet. I've got 2116 as of this morning. So, like halfway. If you could go to my YouTube page and just hit a video and hit play and then go take a dump, it would, seriously, that would help me. If everybody did that, it would be awesome. That way I can, I'll throw a video out of me bringing a tree down, and then you'll see a nice commercial for, Trojan rubbers. No one calls them rubbers these days. Maybe for some Viagra. I could get an ad on there, and then you know what they do? YouTube writes you a check, like 3 cents a month, and they send it your way. So, help your old pal Eric Zane out. I'm doing the best I can. Trying not to take a nickel from the government. Happy birthday to Zaniac Tyler Kerr, who spells his name weird. It's not Kerr. There's like a U, a Z, an X, and a Q, and a VP in there. Tyler Kerr is, he comes to all my events, all my paintball parties. Him and his lovely better half joined me at the one and only West Michigan Ironman game this year, sitting in the Zane Zone area that we have over there. Tyler, happy birthday to you. You're 30 years old. Holy crap, you're so freaking young. Okay, so happy birthday, buddy. I promised your better half. She's the one who ran out the ground ball in this, and boy, does she love you. And I could see why. You're a sweet, sweet dude, Tyler. Happy birthday. All right. Yesterday, part of the day, your old pal Eric Zane got a haircut. Check this out. This is probably some of my best work. You might be like, damn, Zane looks neat and trimmed up today, high and tight. Yes, I am an absolute artiste with clippers. I start with one length all the way around, and then up on top, no big deal, different length. And then I take the comb, and then I go along the length of the comb, and then make it even more trim and neat. Clean up the burns. Do the neck. My wife has to help me on the back of the neck, but I have done the back of my neck alone. You just hold like a mirror up, and and then you hold it like this shit, and boom, boom, boom. Awesome. So if you want your haircut, that's what you got to do. I'm not doing it for you. That was part of the day yesterday. Okay, so, welcome into another edition of the Eric Zane Show podcast. Some of you are getting it on the audio. Thank you as well for subscribing and being part of the show. A lot of stuff to get into today. We have a small business shout-out, another person in the food industry. That will be Fortune Chef in Caledonia. Randy Scott will join me a little bit later on the Eric Zane Show small business shout-out. Keep those coming, by the way. If you want to go to my Facebook page, right to the top of it, there is a picture of Uncle Sam rolling up his sleeves. And you can leave it on there, and I'll get to them. It just takes time. I try to get one a day, so eventually we will work our way through it. Are you sick of hearing about Michael Jordan? Okay. Apparently there's a documentary that's out that, the whole world is telling me, oh, God, you got to see it. You got to see The Last Dance. It's a multi-part documentary that covers Michael Jordan. And I fucking hate Michael Jordan. I have always hated Michael Jordan. There was never a time that I ever thought he was good. I always thought he was an overrated piece of shit. And do you remember the Jordan rules? The thing that actually made the guy good? The guy sucked shit. Oh, my God. You see, I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, or at least I was. Well, I was an absolutely fanatic Detroit Pistons fan back in the Bad Boys era. Man, if you were my age, if you are my age and you lived in Michigan, you freaking loved the Detroit Pistons. I will say this. I've been seeing some videos people have been circulating of basketball in the 1980s of what happens to a basketball player when they drive the lane, and then all of a sudden, Isaiah Thomas, Rick Mahorn, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer with Vinnie Johnson punching your dick are bashing you over the head with elbows and forearms and fists, and then no foul is called. The guy, the idiot who's driving the lane's got a busted nose, his eyes hanging out, maybe an ear ripped off. No foul, play on. Ball goes flying 10 rows deep. Oh, nowadays none of that shit happens. That is what, It was so bad that they even made a video game that Bill Laimbeer was in called Bill Laimbeer Combat Basketball, where Laimbeer is like on the artwork on the cover of the game wearing like shoulder pads, and the object of the game is to like beat the shit out of everybody while you're trying to put the ball in the hoop. Oh my God, was that a fantastic time. Pistons should have won about 5 titles, but they ended up only winning 2. Seriously, the Pistons should minimum of 9 NBA titles. But the league was like, we're done with you. It's time to give Jordan the crown. And then they continued to, impart upon them the Jordan rules, where, basically if Michael Jordan's dribbling down the court and he's going up to dunk it, he could pick up the ball and just start running with it like fucking Barry Sanders for like 35 yards, and then no travel whatsoever. And then if you even look at the guy, they would blow the whistle. Fuck Michael Jordan. I don't want to watch this stupid bullshit documentary about this asshole. This is the Michael Jordan documentary. Leaves North Carolina, goes on to the Bulls, gets the shit kicked out of him by the Pistons. League gets sick of the Pistons. League allows Michael Jordan to win. His dad gets murdered in a weirdo way. Michael Jordan gets busted for gambling by the league, so he goes to do some stupid, shitty stunt playing baseball with some stupid minor league baseball team. He serves his suspension quietly, shows back up. The league says this will be a great story when we let you win more championships. Dickhead wins more championships, wears out his welcome in Chicago, goes to Washington, sucks shit, and that's the end of the story. His house is still for sale, by the way. You ever see that? Michael Jordan, he put up his house for sale in like Chicagoland and put it on the market for like $59 billion, this mansion. And it's everywhere you turn is like Michael's face. Like, who the fuck is going to want to buy a $59 billion house with Michael Jordan's face everywhere in the fucking thing? The basketball court has the Bulls logo. If I had that type of cheddar, I would buy the house and just burn it down. I mean, who wants all this stupid Bulls shit? Fuck the Bulls. I hate the Bulls. So, no, I'm not watching the Michael Jordan documentary about that asshole team. I don't give a shit about them. The only documentary that would be worth watching is anything about the bad boys Detroit Pistons. Now, that was a team. My God. Buddha Edwards, Spider Sally, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer. I love Bill Laimbeer, and he's just as pissed off nowadays as he was back then. If you were to watch Bill Laimbeer nowadays, he's still just as surly as ever. They put a camera on that guy, and he's like, yeah, fuck Michael Jordan. That guy was deadly. 6'11". He could shoot it from way outside of the arc, but he would only jump like 1/2 inch off the ground. The ball would still be going up somehow as it would go in the net. It was hard to explain. And then a rebounding machine. And if you even thought about entering the paint, he would like pull out a lead pipe and bash you in the face with it. Oh my God. And the dude, he's a total prick. And I love that guy. He's been a prick since he could walk. He was raised really, really wealthy. So, he's completely entitled and just a rich fuck. And I forgot what industry his old man was in, but he grew up with tons of cheddar. And the dude ends up going to Notre Dame, rich fucker. Everybody on campus probably hated him in South Bend. And then the prick ends up going to Cleveland. We ended up getting the dick for, I don't know who the fuck we traded him for. But anyway, he was our dick and we loved him. Seriously, I remember one time going back on my old Free Beer and Hot Wings days, because Free Beer, I don't know if he still works with them, but he worked with Rick Mahorn during his basketball games. So I was always intensely proud of Free Beer, by the way, for finding his way in that industry. I mean, the guy just was a machine, is a machine. And so he got to work with Rick Mahorn, a guy that Greg and I idolized growing up. And so I'm like, how the fuck do you work with that guy and not fanboy out about him? to his face. So he would tell me all these great stories because apparently he developed kind of like a friendship with Mahorn, who would call him free beers as opposed to free beer, which I found to be the funniest fucking thing. And one day, Greg and Mahorn were driving, and Mahorn's phone rings, and it's Lane Beer, and Mahorn goes, pick it up. And Greg picks it up, and he goes, hello, Rick's phone. And apparently he heard Lane Beer go, get Rick. And he told me that he was kind of like, oh, shit. He like peed a little. Here, fucking Bill Lane Beer's on the phone. Probably intimidated. He can intimidate the shit out of you over the phone. Classic. So back to the point at hand. No, I'm not watching the Bulls documentary. I hate the Bulls. I hated them back then. I hate Jordan. Oh, that guy can eat tons of shit. Watch the Bulls documentary. Who the hell gives a shit about the Bulls documentary? My God. All right. There's better things to watch, okay? Like Ozark. I got people saying, man, you got to watch that shit. What are you doing waiting on the it's up right now. Go watch Ozark. I'm working on it, man. I'm a busy man. I got shit to do. Okay. So do you remember when the shit hit the fan here on coronavirus and the government's like, all right, man, first of all, for individual citizens, if you made under this amount, here comes the jack, here comes the money. All right, great. Fantastic. If you own a small business, payroll protection program, we got you covered. Now, when I hear small business, I'm envisioning, TC Paintball. I'm envisioning a lot of the people that might support my show. Small businesses. Maybe a couple hundred employees. I don't know. A small business. You know what doesn't come to mind? Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. To the tune of $20 million. Shake Shack with thousands of employees to the tune of $10 million. What the hell is going on here? Well, those companies applied for the loans, and they got the money, and the money's gone. There was $350 billion to be given away to American small business, and it's fucking used up. That's right, Ruth's Chris, one of the most expensive places to buy food, like in the history of the world, applied and got that money. $20 million. How? The loophole goes like this. In fact, they'll explain it in this story, and then if it's kind of glossed over, I'll stop down to make sure that you get the point. But this is what's going on. This is complete bullshit.
Tonight, small businesses desperate for relief are going to have to keep waiting. Ron Sorek has owned a jewelry store in Pennsylvania for 30 years.
We deferred a lot of our bills and our mortgages and our line of credit.
By the time he applied for the Paycheck Protection Program, the $350 billion fund for businesses with fewer than 500 employees, it had dried up. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill yet to reach a new agreement to add another $310 billion to the depleted loan program, including $60 billion for rural, minority-run, and women-led businesses. This possible second wave of relief comes after several
By the way, I don't know why they have to take focus. Here, you get more if you're a women or a minority-run business. How about just if you apply and meet the criteria and not trying to game the system, you can get the money. I don't know about any of that shit.
Restaurant chains got tens of millions of dollars from the loan program, including Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, Potbelly, and Shake Shack. they used this exception for restaurants, allowing them to apply because they had less than 500 workers per location.
Per location. So Shake Shack has like 1,000 plus places to get food. So they've got thousands of workers. But Shake Shack said, yeah, but there's only 30 at this place, thus we shall apply. What? That's the same thing that the steak place, Ruth's Chris, did. First of all, like at Ruth's Chris, no one is going to Ruth's Chris right now to work, okay? And I don't think you're going to do curbside pickup for a steak joint where the average meal is like $600. So there's no one there working anyway, right? So why the fuck are they getting $20 million? If that place, let's say all the Ruth's Chris Steakhouse can't take people to dine in at their place. So all those people get furloughed who work there. And then you know what they do? They apply for unemployment or get another job. That's what they do. But for the businesses that are still working, where like their employees are still there right now, like let's say Baldwin Ace Hardware, the Gilmorys, all their workers are still there, but their foot traffic in the store is incredibly down. So he still has to pay those people. He still has to keep the lights on. That's where that money is supposed to go to in the first fucking place. So why the fuck is Ruth's Chris getting $20 million? It doesn't make any sense. This is horrible.
They should have probably had different programs for different sized businesses. The little guy's still flailing in the wind trying to figure it out.
The CEO of Shake Shack, with nearly 8,000
All right, this is great. This guy from Shake Shack. They knew what they were doing at Shake Shack. They applied for the money, and they got it. It wasn't till somebody pointed out, hey, how the fuck did this? Somebody blew the whistle on this guy. So now he's giving it back only because he's caught.
Employees in more than 250 locations around the world now says the burger chain will return its $10 million PPP loan after it found other funding.
There was lots of discussion very early on that the first stage of PPP was not going to be enough. And knowing that, why did Shake Shack continue to apply for a PPP loan?
I think no one knows how long this virus is going to continue. So when given an opportunity, as we understood it, we're absolutely going to work to do anything we can to keep our team members employed.
As a record.
All right, now, as it goes, that's the CEO of Shake Shack. If they are still open, I could definitely understand that if this was a standalone business, but it's not. They don't qualify, so that guy's a fucking asshole.
22 million people filed for unemployment in just 1 month, many still struggling to get benefits. In Florida, nearly 650,000 verified claims were filed. Only 40,000 have been paid, just about 6%.
Oh.
Joe, we also saw today that oil prices turned negative for the first time.
Oh, you hear about this? Oil's free now. Get this.
Ever. What does that mean?
Lester, that means there's an oversupply of oil right now as all of us stay home and economies are at a virtual halt. The oversupply and the crash in prices that you saw today is also a sign that it will continue going forward as we keep staying at home. It also means the price you pay at the pump is going to go down.
It should say, like at Speedway, we pay you $1 a gallon, like legit. No one is buying gas. The demand is gone, and the price of oil is below $1. It's below zero a barrel, which I don't know how that is, but it's, but this actually is not good. There are hundreds of American oil companies, some small, some not so small, that could experience a bankruptcy because of this. Because when we do decide to actually start moving again and spending money on fuel, it's going to take a while for those companies to actually get back. And I don't know if they can keep operating. I was reading an article about them having to actually declare bankruptcy. So that's not a good thing, actually, for to have oil that low. But I just kind of want to see. Part of me wants to see, like, it to say 10 cents a gallon on there. If that's the case, I'm buying like 705-gallon gas tanks and filling them all up. I don't know if that would work, though. The fuel would probably go bad, and my house would blow up or something stupid like that. Somebody's going to try that, though. Okay. So here we sit on a day where there's been more and more discussion about the economy opening up in various states. Tennessee and Georgia are getting back after it. I think it's Georgia that is still, Georgia does not look good when it comes to illnesses diagnosed and death. Tennessee a little bit more, but both these states are not like on the downward trend. The idea was by the federal government, like the Trump administration, if a state has 14 consecutive days where there's like less and less people being diagnosed and deaths, that is a key gateway to get past to opening up your economy. Well, those states, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina, are not doing that. They're just like, you know what, Friday, let's go to the movies. Let's go out to the lobby. Let's go out to the lobby.
Let's go out to the lobby. Get ourselves some snacks.
So, all right. I guess. I don't know if that's the best thing in the world. The mayor of Atlanta is bumming. She's like, wait a second here. This place is a fucking hot spot. No way. Cautionary tale. Let this be a reminder of what can happen. You have Atlanta, you have Chicago, you have Detroit, you have New York, New Jersey. Massachusetts is a big-time hotspot. By the way, Michigan is getting squashed as a hotspot. Good work to everybody who has followed the orders, even all you loudmouth monster truck driving assholes. Though you're a bunch of dicks, you are still following the order, and good on you, because Michigan is dropping like a stone when it comes to infections and deaths. Keep it up. But at a meat packing plant in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's what that is, isn't it? Sioux Falls, South Dakota? Is it Idaho? I don't know. One of those fucked up states where there's like 80 people that live there. There's a meat packing plant where they didn't heed the warnings, and they knew they had more than one person who had coronavirus. And they didn't shut the place down. This is an essential place to work. They process food. Hey, you might want to go and get your meat, because this place is shut down now. More than 900 cases. It's one of the most active places for coronavirus. Check this out.
Tonight, some residents of Sioux Falls, South Dakota feel theirs is a city under siege. This Smithfield pork processing plant, one of the area's largest employers, is now a coronavirus hotspot linked to nearly 900 cases. Now we are hearing about conditions inside from a current longtime employee who wished to have their voice disguised.
I started getting really super concerned when a person on my line was diagnosed with COVID-19. Yeah, tell me more.
The worker says this is a picture of the cafeteria, outfitted with cardboard dividers and yellow tape for social distancing. But the employee tells us that is nearly impossible.
There's people standing in line outside.
God, you sound so hot.
People inside in the locker rooms, people walking down the hallway, and there's no way of being 6 feet apart.
You know what the fuck you're talking about.
In a statement to NBC News, Smithfield says it's extremely proactive in responding to COVID-19, supplying masks and face shields for employees and paying workers who stay at home when they're sick. The plant is now closed indefinitely.
A lot of us were getting scared, knowingly that if we didn't show up for work, we might not have a job. A lot of people were worried about their family members and bringing it home and spreading it to them.
Now, this plant accounts for more than half of the
Quit being a drama queen.
State's nearly 1,700 cases, and more than 100 of those are people who came into contact with the employees. A similar situation in Iowa, where authorities say 2/3 of new cases on Sunday were linked to meat plants.
And once the virus is introduced into this type of an environment, it's very difficult to contain.
Back in South Dakota, the CDC tonight has new guidance on when and how to reopen Smithfield safely.
Expanded use of face shields and more personal protective equipment, and then some better communication that can happen within the facility.
And other companies are taking new steps to protect their frontline workers. Starting today, all Walmart and Sam's Club employees.
You hearing this, all you smart asses that show up on the steps of the Capitol in Lansing with your, I got a permission slip that says I can be here. It's the Constitution. And all your don't tread on me. Well, don't tread on me. Hey, come on, I can be here. And let's go to work. Come on, freedom. Come on, Michigan militia freedom fighters. Shut up. My God.
These are required to wear masks at work, and the company is strongly urging customers to do the same. And in Sioux Falls, like in so many other small communities, meat plants are among the area's largest employer. So once the virus hits that plant, the town feels it very quickly. Lester?
This is why we're doing what we're doing, you idiots. If you would read and actually process what you're reading, don't just move your lips as you're seeing the words silently, you would understand that in the previous massive loss of life pandemic, the Spanish flu, the communities that did what we're doing now economically got back to it quicker than the dumb shits that you'd like this place to be, where we get back to work too soon, like in Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina. Those places are going to be war zones, okay, because they're getting back after it too quickly. But no, you got to do it your way with your freedom and all this other bullshit. Case in point, Plainwell, Michigan, not far from here. 60 workers, also at a beef plant, similar to the Sioux Falls deal, just a lot less people infected. They've got an outbreak there at the beef plant. Of all the things, our food supply. JBS is the name of the place. They tested positive between March 24th and April 19th. It would not surprise me at all if some of these dicks who got it, or I should say some of these people who got it, were the dicks that were in Lansing. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't that be great? I actually hope that at least one of the people was one of those guys who got it. According to the Allegan County Health Department, citing data from the Michigan Disease Surveillance System. We've been working closely with the JBS Plainville Human Resources team. We have an ongoing investigation, blah, 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 blah. We went on site to review their social distancing, screening, and environmental hygiene practices on April 13th. In my mind, this article should say, this place was loaded with stupid idiots that were in Lansing. On April 13th, JBS announced it is temporarily closing its facility in Greeley, Colorado, to support the fight against coronavirus. Later on April 20th, JBS said it was indefinitely closing its pork plant in Worthington, Minnesota. So now all the places that make our food are getting hit right between the eyes because you idiots wanted to go and protest. Thank you. May or may not be true that anyone at the meat packing plant was in Lansing. Incredible. Yesterday was my first ever edition, and it didn't go quite as planned because the Wi-Fi was screwy. The first ever Eric Zane Show podcast, Instagram Instant Listener. All I do is I go live on Instagram, and then whoever is watching, I invite one of you to the conversation. I can only do one. So then it's you and I and the world watching as we have a conversation. Instagram instant interview on the Eric Zane Show podcast. Search Eric Zane Show on Instagram, brought to you by the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. I will do another one of those today. So find me on Instagram and follow. That's what you do. Speaking of Mario, thank God for him. For keeping after it. His staff is still working hard at the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Mario's at his desk right now, 231-332-6505. All right? That's 231-332-6505. You can get the ball rolling on a mortgage. That industry is not affected. They can do it all remotely. His employees are working at home. Mario is at his business, and you can get this started. First-time home buyers are encouraged to call Mario. Van Dyke Mortgage all around the United States, but I want you to call upon the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Thank you. You get the mortgage before you get the house, before you start looking for it. You can still look for houses, okay? And who I want you to do that with? Henry Steffes, the Steffes Group, all right? Online at thesteffesgroup.com. Henry Steffes is an amazing realtor, and I just want to stress that same thing with the mortgage company. Go ahead and interview a few people, but I promise you, Henry and his sweet, handsome face with his red-rimmed glasses is going to win over your heart with his thoroughness, his professionalism, and it is just a fantastic experience buying a home with Henry Steffes. I've been getting the itch to sell this dump. It's not a dump. It's a great house. Thank you. And I would have to call on Henry. He's my guy. He should be your guy, too. TheSteffesGroup.com. Thank you, Henry. Okay. In just a bit, I want to talk to you about that pastor in Louisiana. Yesterday on the Patreon, I told you he was actually had the nerve to say to his parishioners, Tony Spell in Louisiana, hey, I'm giving you the Tony Spell Coronavirus Stimulus Challenge. Give me your relief check. He actually said this. I want you, impoverished people that come to my giant church where I grift you on a regular basis, I want you to, he's actually asking, has the nerve to ask his poor parishioners to give him the stimulus check that the government is giving out to people. He is in the news again. There is a warrant out for his arrest. I cannot wait to tell you that story. That comes up in just a second. Oops. Nope. Don't want to do that. That would have been a problem. Okay. It is time to get a hold of Randy Scott. Randy runs a restaurant in Caledonia known as Fortune Chef. Another one of the great small businesses that are feeling it right now.
Hello, it's Randy.
Randy, it's Eric Zane. How are you?
Zane, fantastic.
Now, Randy, when I talked to you yesterday, you revealed that we have we had interacted in the past, right?
We have, yes, sir.
You used to do work for Mr. Lobdell, yes?
Yes, sir.
Back in the
I was
day.
his director of marketing and communications. Left in 2018.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, you had been to the radio station back at BBL when Jeff would come in and visit me, huh?
That was me setting it all up for him, yes.
Okay, that was always a good time. Now, you got into your own restaurant business. Is this the first time you've done it with Fortune Chef in Caledonia?
Yeah, so I decided to pursue my dream. I've been a part of others' dreams for a very long time with the marketing and culinary experience. I decided to go out on my own last April April 30th of 2019.
Okay, so you're approaching 1 year. And that's, I mean, this is tricky business. The restaurant industry is no joke, and you better be ready to go and not faint of heart to be able to make it happen. And when we talked yesterday, I said, surviving what we're going through right now means you can survive anything. How is it going for you, Randy?
That's a fact. So I began this with Fortune Chef. It's been here for 20 years. I took it over and. For a gentleman who's just a great guy. His name is Simon. He ended up retiring. And so I took it over for him and purchased it for him. And it's been fantastic. I've been blessed. It's kind of funny. I'm a white guy owning a Chinese restaurant, but what people don't understand is that this Chinese restaurant also serves breakfast. It serves American food, and it's just delicious. But for the first year, it was going great up until March.
Oh, my God. Now, what I like to talk with a lot of the small businesses that are on the show to talk about this, and the small business shout-out is, when it was in Asia, and just we were hearing rumblings about coronavirus, did it ever cross your mind that things would get to where they are right now?
Absolutely not, and that's a huge concern for me because my two gentlemen that worked for me, and they've been here for 20 years with the former owner. In fact, one of the gentlemen that worked for me was the former owner's brother, and they're in their 60s, and they're from Hong Kong, so that's where they travel to, and not to mention January 25th was Chinese New Year, so I don't know, if they had family over or what have you. So what I did was I was really proactive. I in fact contacted every part of the family, made sure that they didn't have people visiting. And, I know that last year though, the former owner's mother in Hong Kong passed away. So they all made the trip over to China. So here I am. Now it's March. I'm hearing all about this Wuhan virus and coronavirus and all of the nonsense. And so I had to be proactive. So I called the Kent County Health Department. I inquired, and I've been, pretty much on top of it from day one.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me your cooks, legends in the industry, went to China when everything was starting to unfold?
They were in China last year, and I want to say, I think it was October, November. That's when they were in China. Yeah. And so I ended up having to, and mind you, this was before anybody even knew about the coronavirus. So
right.
When they,
yeah.
So here we are, fast forward, it's Chinese New Year. And I'm just thinking back, and then March, and here we are with this coronavirus. I had to take some very fast precautionary procedures.
Right.
I contacted the health department, and I contacted, I talked to Steve Kelso, who's in was a colleague of mine for years over at Wood TV. And anyways, I really was proactive, and I did what I needed to do to protect my staff out here. My staff, the average age is 16. So, with these two China guys, and great guys, I mean, and, I had to temp them. I had to, every day just to be safe. This was well before anybody was even telling us to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So as you go, I mean, it's apparent that as you're working right now, eventually you're going to need to bring on new cooks to actually cook the Asian cuisine after this all settles down.
Well, so they ended up retiring. And I'm actually going in a different direction. My whole purchase. Yeah, I'm not doing Chinese food anymore. It's not even going to be called Fortune Chef.
Okay.
I'm not sure of the name yet, but it's going to be breakfast and barbecue. I'm gonna have smoked meats. Today I'm serving brisket. A brisket sandwich. I smoked it all night, and it's going to be delicious. So brisket sandwich, French fries, and coleslaw on top of my other sweet buttercream pancakes, Belgian waffles, omelets, you name it, I got it. And I got award-winning sausage gravy here. So it's going to be going through a whole new rename and rebrand.
What the hell? Now, it's no time like the present, Randy. Well done.
That's a fact. I got to adapt to the situation. And, Caledonia, there's a little tight-knit small community out here. And we're located right in the D&W Strip Mall Marketplace. But this little tight-knit community, there is no other breakfast restaurant near me.
Okay.
And so
that is great.
That's what enticed me the most.
Well, I'm looking at the menu. It is thorough. It's complete. It's still fortunechefcaledonia.com. So if you're in and around that area, do think of Randy Scott and Fortune Chef as you work your way through this. Is it all curbside? Is that what's happening right now?
Yes, it is. So if you go to the Facebook page, Fortune Chef Facebook page, there's a link right there. You can actually order right there. It's a limited menu, but there's quite a few products on offerings, but you can order right there and you can pay right there. And I instantly get that as soon as you hit submit. I make it. I bring it out front for you. Leave it on a table that I have out front. And if you're paying cash, you can drop the cash in a bucket out front that I've got set.
Wow.
And it's quite no customer to customer contact.
This is what we got to do, man. This is what we've been the hand we've been dealt. You're doing your best to work past it, and I think it's great. You know, you gotta do what we got to do to keep the wheels turning. You know,
that's a fact.
All right. Well, I appreciate you, Randy, and best of luck. I'll talk to you down the road. Okay.
Thanks, Zane. Appreciate you too.
All
Take
right,
care.
buddy. See you around. Randy Scott, Fortune Chef. Thank you. Check him out. As he said, if you just look up Fortune Chef, like Wheel of Fortune, Fortune Chef, and on Facebook, do what he said, or just FortuneChefCaledonia.com is his website. Oh, my God. He's coming up with a new menu as we're in the middle of the coronavirus nonsense. Holy crap. Glutton for punishment is that Randy Scott. Okay, I want to hear from you, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. If you have emails, again, if I ever get thrown off of the live stream, the way we do it is text my wife. Hey, Eric's not on right now. Can you go tap him on the shoulder? All right. By the way, after yesterday's debacle with describing how it was at my house, with the horrible embarrassments at the hands of my daughter, Jacqueline. 2 big moments. You had to listen to yesterday's podcast to hear that. Yesterday, everything was cool. There was no incidents yesterday. Normally, I like to start the show with some bit of hijinks that happened in the house, but for some reason, it was low-key. Maybe I shouldn't tell her not to embarrass me anymore for the sake of the show. Okay, so this pastor, Tony Spell, which... You know, I had this guy on the show, and I was really patient with him at the time. It was actually a decent conversation, but this guy, I wish I wasn't that patient with him. He's a total asshole. But if I had just lost my cool with him, I probably would have ended up looking bad. I had him on. I called his Faith Tabernacle Baptist Church or whatever it was, and when I called him, it was when the only thing he was on the hot seat for was having service with no restrictions. Like everybody was there, and there was no social distancing going on, and there was concerns about whether or not people would get sick. So there was that, and I had a conversation with the guy. Actually, it wasn't bad. Then he was in the news because he's like, all right, give me your government stimulus check. Give me your government relief check. I need that. Which, it's really horrible to think that he would have enough nerve to actually present that to people. But now he has an arrest warrant out for him because, and I don't know if this is going to work. I think basically the cops just hate him. And, but there's video going around, and I'll link this up in the comments. He was driving his bus out in front of his church, and where he picks up people that can't drive. And there's a guy who's been out there in front of the church, holding a sign that says something like "Coronavirus Incubator Ahead." He's like a dude who's concerned about this guy having all these people at his church, which is a great sign. Caution, coronavirus incubator, do not enter, you may die. Guy's holding a sign there to protest the church. Spell gets in his bus and it says that he tried to back it into the guy to hit him as he's standing there on the side of the road. And this dude has put cameras up, the guy holding the sign, just in case something like this would happen. So now Spell put on the brakes and didn't hit him. But this guy told the cops, and now the cops want to arrest the guy. There was also another person showing up for the service who did, in fact, swerve, and that also was caught on camera, to hit the guy holding the sign that says, "Coronavirus Incubator Ahead, you may die." And they were talking about it in the news in that neck of the woods.
There's an arrest warrant out for this controversial pastor who refuses to obey that stay-at-home order. But it's not for that, it's for this. You see that bus right there? The pastor is behind the wheel. We talked tonight to the protester who says the pastor tried to run him over. Now the Central Police Department has a warrant out for assault with a deadly weapon. Our Lester Dewey spoke with that pastor tonight and joins us now with more on that. Lester.
The protester is Trey Bennett. He's been holding up signs in front of the church for the past few
What young person is named Lester? What?
weeks in opposition of Pastor Spell holding large services with no regard for the governor's orders. And on Sunday, he felt threatened not once, but twice. Just take a look at this surveillance video from after the noon service at Life Tabernacle.
At first I thought he was just backing, like turning around his bus and going to pull away, but he just kept coming in reverse.
Showing this white bus coming to a stop just short of where Trey Bennett was standing.
I could see him driving the bus. He was honking his horn loudly at me and making gestures that suggested he was yelling while he was driving. It didn't seem real until it was physically in my face with a bus.
So basically, the pastor just snapped. He's driving back in the bus. He sees dude with coronavirus incubator ahead. Turn around, you may die. And the dude just flipped his lid because he probably saw that he wasn't going to be able to grift as many people at his stupid church.
Bell spoke with WAFB and admitted he was driving the bus and simply wanted to go out and confront the protester. His wife, who was also on that bus at the same time, talked him out of it. Spell saying, "That man has been in front of my church driveway for 3 weeks now. He shoots people obscene finger gestures and shouts vulgarities."
I haven't done anything of the sort. I just stand there with a sign. I don't say anything to anybody.
The warrant issued to Spell by Central PD accuses him of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. But take a look at this video as well. Bennett stayed for the evening service at Life Tabernacle. You can see someone driving a white truck appears to swerve off the road.
It's a pickup. And the guy he yanked the wheel right at guy holding a warning coronavirus ahead sign.
In an apparent attempt to hit him.
He just pulled over at me and turned into the church. That was much faster than what Tony Spell.
Yeah, that was much more deliberate and aggressive. Spell's was kind of like a slow backup. It wasn't really a big deal.
When he drove the bus at me.
The protester says he just wants Pastor Spell to quit holding services and jeopardizing the health of his community.
My main concern for the current right now is that this church gets closed down.
At last check, neither Spell or the man driving the white truck have been arrested. If that changes, we'll be sure to alert you both on air.
All right. Now, a lot of time has passed since I first got this guy on the podcast. And there was another time that I reached out to him. And he picked it up, and he was in a meeting. Okay? And I was like, "Pastor Spell," and he goes, "I'm in a meeting. I can't talk right now." And I go, "Well, why didn't you pick it up, you big dummy?" So there is no way in hell after all of this news. He was on CNN. They were reading him the riot act. There's no way in hell that this guy is going to pick up. But I am going to try FaceTime. Wait a minute, 225. I better do it via Skype. Yeah, I'm going to do it via Skype because it says FaceTime can only be audio, and I want to get a look at this guy's face. You won't be able to see it. Anybody can get this number. It's like readily available. It says Tony Spell chatted 20 days ago. Whoops. Rest in peace to your ears. Come on. That means it's not ringing. It's trying to find him. No chance in hell. Would have been fun. I meant well. Imagine if he calls me back. "Hey, it's me, Tony." Unbelievable. The nerve of this guy. So now the cops are going to bring his ass in. And when you see that, I think more to just cause him trouble, because when you look at the video, he's just kind of backing up the bus slowly. And then he stops about 6 feet from guy holding sign. It says coronavirus ahead, or coronavirus incubator ahead. So they have a warrant for assault with a deadly weapon, the bus. And it so wasn't. It's not. And I'm anxious to see. I think they're just doing this because this guy's a total asshole. Any way they can get this guy locked up for at least a temporary. But I don't know. Maybe this might even help that guy in the long run. It boggles my mind how people can be this blinded. You know, in the realm of organized religion, when there's being stared in the face with a risk to their health, and not only that, but just the fact that he can say, "Give me your relief check," and people don't see through that. It actually bothers me to some degree that people can be that blind. It's disgusting, frankly. Okay, I'm touching all the issues today. You know who's in the news as well? The anti-vaxxers. Okay, so you hear about vaccine for coronavirus. Within the next year or so, there will be a vaccination for this. That, by the way, is, to me, officially when I'm going to be somewhat comfortable. I don't see myself going to any arenas or mass settings of group. Even after they open the state up again, I'm not taking the mask away. I'm not shaking your hand. I'm going to bow. I'm not going to any crowded places whatsoever. Don't ask. Don't ask me to host anything. Okay? It's a little different when you're doing PA work, like at the hockey game, because I can stay away from the crowd. But I can't picture anybody wanting to go to any event until we get a vaccine. I will be shocked if there's sporting events that have crowds in them in the near future. Seriously. But the vaccination is going to be a thing. That will be taken care of before you know it. Well, all right, yeah, but what about the anti-vaxxers? Oh, wow, yeah, you know, all those people who say that vaccinations kill us, what are they thinking about this? Well, the answer might surprise you. I'll get to that in just a bit. But first off, I'm inviting you to join me on Cameo. Cameo is great. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, check it out on your own. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. Hire me to wish somebody a happy birthday, a happy divorce. Maybe they're finishing college, whatever it may be. I can be offering them well wishes. I can also bust the balls of your friends in a roast-style effort. I find that is something that I excel at. As you know, I like to talk. So to talk one-on-one with your friend, lover, whatever, doesn't matter. Hire me, cameo.com/Eric Zane. If you have a friend who's one of these stupid asses that goes to Lansing in his monster truck, let me bust that person's balls. Cameo.com/Eric Zane. It's going to set you back $15.95. I'm one of the cheapest ones on there. It's embarrassing. I've got a guy who teaches you gun safety so you can carry your your pistol concealed. Get your CPL. The first thing you're going to need to do is take the class. Steve Prince, retired U.S. Army major, is wanting to teach you as soon as the dust settles on the virus. Okay? Click on his link right at ericzaneshow.com. It's got all the information that you need there to set up for the next class. He doesn't have it quite set yet. Just let it be known that when he does get back after it, that's who's going to teach you all the safety you need. You don't even need to own a gun to take the class. Going to set you back $125. Thank you to Steve Prince. Sarah Honda selling cars online. SarahHondaGranville.com. Selling brand new, certified pre-owned, used, and budget cars at Sarah Honda. They have everything you could possibly want at one facility. Now, you're not going to go there right now. you are not going to buy a car on the lot. You can shop online, though. A lot of people do that these days. I suggest you do it at sarahhondagranville.com. While you're going through that process, would you please mention my name, as I hope you do with all of the sponsors. Let them know that you heard about whatever business it may be right on this podcast. sarahhondagranville.com. All right, couple of things about the vaccination. Like I indicated, there will be a time when we have a vaccination readily available. Then and only then will I be feeling comfortable. There is a tennis player, one of the best in the world. In fact, the best in the world right now. The number one tennis player in the world is Novak Djokovic. Okay? And, Wimbledon is canceled. That hasn't happened. It's the first time that's ever happened. And eventually, if there is an opportunity for them to play tennis again, the World Tennis Association is saying you have to have a vaccine in order to play tennis again. Djokovic is saying, not me. He says he would be opposed to a compulsory or mandatory vaccination against the coronavirus if it was needed by players for tennis to resume. So he's an anti-vaxxer. He's saying, if there is something made to keep me from this virus, I will not take it. What the hell is wrong with people? Quote, personally, I am opposed to vaccination, and I wouldn't want to be forced by someone to take a vaccine in order to be able to travel, Djokovic. He claimed his 17th Grand Slam at the Australian Open in February. He said in a Facebook Live chat on Sunday, nope, not me. But if it becomes compulsory, what will happen? I will have to make a decision, meaning mandatory. I have my own thoughts about the matter, and whether those thoughts will change at some point, I don't know. Hypothetically, if the season was to resume in July, August, or September, though unlikely, I understand that a vaccine will become a requirement straight after we are out of strict quarantine, and there is no vaccine yet. Last month, former world number one Amelie Mauresmo tweeted, no vaccine, no tennis. What an idiot. I don't know if I'll take a vaccine for coronavirus. My God. Well, then don't play. I guess you can't play, you idiot. Meanwhile, anti-vaxxers, what are they going to do? These are the people that, cause all sorts of trouble and say all sorts of stupid things when it comes to things like measles, mumps, and rubella. Well, certainly these people aren't going to get the coronavirus vaccine when that is made available, right? I mean, if they're so concerned about vaccines that they're going to keep their children away from being inoculated from measles, mumps, and rubella, which are devastating diseases that have been able to repopulate because of morons here and abroad saying that vaccines will hurt children, which is a complete falsehood. Widely debunked. They don't believe it. Certainly, they're not going to take the coronavirus vaccine, right? Wrong. Many are saying, oh, no, we're changing our tune on coronavirus. Well, what the fuck? Pick one. How the fuck can you say, yeah, measles, mumps, and rubella? No way. But the brand new vaccine for coronavirus, still not yet created, we'll take that one. Of all of them, you shouldn't take the coronavirus. You should take the measles. That one's been here forever. So, yeah, see, again, these people make no sense. We say yes to the brand new one that's just going to be introduced to the public. But the one that's tried and true, hell no. It's challenging the anti-vax movement. It says the virus has done something really startling. It's made some anti-vaxxers change their minds. Haley Searcy, 26-year-old from Florida, told CNN she was, quote, fully anti-vax when her daughter was born in 2019. God, I hate to hear that. I had seen so many accounts of kids dying from SIDS and having other dangerous reactions due to vaccines. That's not true. No kids had dangerous reactions from vaccines. And the only kids that die from SIDS are the ones who, you put them on their belly And then the kid looks up before he goes to bed, and then he puts his face down and suffocates himself. Or he's sleeping with a blanket over his face, you idiot. Is that the rule? Isn't that ever changing? You know, you put a kid in there and you don't put the kid in with like a blanket to keep the... I think you're just supposed to keep the kid on their back, no blanket, right? And you put that little device that like keeps them from rolling over. It changes every week. It's like 1 week it'll be the kid has to be on their back, sleeping in that little thing that keeps them on their back, no blanket. And then 3 days later, they want the kid with a beanbag chair on top of the baby with an obese man on top of it. That's the new guideline. What the hell? Idiot says, I was just scared of vaccines as I was of the diseases that they protect against. Well, that's because you're ignorant. Circe said that after being advised by her daughter's pediatrician that she begrudgingly allowed her to be vaccinated, well, at least you did that, but still suspected that vaccines that were unnecessary and dangerous. Who got into your head? How did that happen? The coronavirus outbreak has changed her view. Yeah, it takes it to be right in her plain sight to realize that this is a real thing. It's that easy to change your mind? Well, hold some pictures in front of her face of a kid with measles, mumps, or rubella. That's not a pretty sight either. Since COVID-19, I've seen firsthand what these diseases can do when they're not being fought with vaccines, said this. Well, at least she changed her tune. So the anti-vaxxers are coming around. That's a good thing, I guess. All right. If you are an anti-vaxxer, I would love to hear from you. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. All right. I'm looking at the emails, which I do from time to time. When emails roll in, I like to interact with them. And let's check it out. Kenny says, you've got some moron ruining Facebook Live comments. Well, they're entitled to do that. I don't have a problem with that. It is apparently Bill O'Dell is in a Facebook fight. You are wrong and I am right. Go to hell, you fucking bitch. You can really suck my dick. Look out. Here comes a Facebook fight. So Kenny's like, hey, man, look out. Bill O'Dell is fucking up the Facebook with fucked up comments. We're trying to kick the shit out of him. Well, that's okay. You can get in a Facebook fight while you're on with me. Facebook fight. All right, let me check it out. Maybe I can get Bill on the podcast. You are wrong and I am right. Bill, what you need to do, send me an email, Bill, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. And it's anonymous. I don't want you to leave your email on the Facebook Live comments because then all these people are going to be pissed at you and they're going to inundate you with phone calls. But what you do, if you want your voice to be heard on the podcast, is send me an email with your phone number and then I'll put you on and we can have this discussion like men. Because I don't know what it is, but the Zaniacs are pissed at you, Bill. Now, I've got no reason to be pissed at you, but they think that you're a clown. So, I mean, let's do this. Eric at ericzaneshow.com. If you're so chatty, you're upsetting Kenny. And I don't, the last thing you want is Kenny upset. Okay? We can't have an upset Kenny in the world. He had a migraine yesterday and he was in deep pain. I don't know what the deal was, but you got Kenny wound up, Bill. So send me an email, Bill O'Dell, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. And we can make this happen, young man. I don't know much about Bill. All right. I hope this works. Can you imagine if we were to actually make this happen? Okay. So that's what's going on. Ken is like, man, you got to look at it. Bill O'Dell's comments on Facebook. Now, you see, the thing about Facebook comments when you're doing the podcast, It's a huge distraction where I would be staring at it. I've already looked at it way too much, but Kenny's sending me screenshots of this guy getting pissed off. Bill's calling Kent a moron. And then he referred to Kent as dumber than a stump. Oh, my God. You do not want to get on Kent's bad side, Bill. What are you doing? So they are in a Facebook fight on the Eric Zane Show podcast Facebook page. Well, Kent, let me know, or Bill, let me know what's up. Maybe I can get you on here. Probably not, though. Okay, I've got. You remember how in a lot of communities there's been a release of the prisoners? Okay, because of the threat of the prisoners getting ill. You've heard that story. Well, in New York, this is backfiring. I've heard about it backfiring in many places. I think there was somebody who committed a murder, like the day that they got out, released from jail. This is having a horrible impact. Then I want to have a lighthearted story about Bath Township, Michigan. Man, you work so hard to get a few things shared on Facebook. All you got to do is be a cop shop and do a supposed funny 420 post to commemorate this amazing day yesterday. That is 420. It didn't even cross my mind once. But before I get to that, if you could, please think about getting an Eric Zane Show podcast t-shirt. Even you, Mr. Odell. I would love you wearing an Eric Zane Show podcast t-shirt. You can have differing opinions just as long as you give me $25 to buy a t-shirt. They're actually $24.95. Free shipping. All sorts of different styles at ericzaneshow.com. The place where I want you to get your car fixed when you have collision damage is Riverbend Body Shop. Online at riverbendbodyshop.com. They are open for business, and they've got a great way of doing it. You just pull up, and they'll take some pictures while you sit in your car. Even better, you can take pictures of the damage yourself. They give you guidelines how to do that, and then you just send it to them. You can text the pictures to them along with the VIN number on the car, and they'll give you an estimate that way. They're awesome. That's how they're doing it at Riverbend Body Shop. You can do it all via that way. Nothing has to be face-to-face. They're open for business and ready to serve you at Riverbend Body Shop, online at riverbendbodyshop.com. And finally, A&D Cleaning. Amy Porter is the cleaning guru, and when it is time to get back after it, after this all dies down, I want you to hire Amy to clean your home. If you are in West Michigan, she can make it happen. Reach out to Amy Porter, and she will get an estimate for you when the time is right to make sure that your home is clean. Can you imagine if you have like a weekly setup where your house is like, before Amy, it was kind of like shit everywhere. It's just filthy. Once a week, Amy comes to your home and cleans it all out. It's amazing. 616-550-3644. She does a great job. Amy Porter has openings for when we all get back to work. A&D Cleaning. Thank you to Amy for being on board with the Eric Zane Show podcast. 616-550-3644. Let me check the email again. Kenny, sorry, man, but you'd be better off blocking that guy than giving him a platform. He's resorted to name calling who says anything against him, even Megan. We don't want to hear from him. We want him to STF you and go away. Well, all right, I'm going to have to take your word for it. If he's calling people names, that is. Yeah. Hold on a second here. Where is Bill? I can't do it right now. I don't think. Block. Yeah. All right. Bill is blocked. Sorry, Bill. I don't know. Well, I'm not apologizing if you were being rude to people. We just can't have that. All right. I don't think Bill will be joining us anymore. Let me know via email, Kenny, if you see anything more from that guy. That wisecracker. Okay, state of New York. Holy shit. Bill de Blasio's like, all right, man. We got to open up the doors. These prisoners are getting sick. The prisoners are getting sick, and the guards are getting sick. Now, I don't have an answer. I don't know how to fix this. I'm not the guy to turn to get something fixed. In most in most things concerning this, but this is backfiring big time, man. Inmates committing crimes after the coronavirus release unconscionable. How do you say that? Unconscionable. God, I can't even talk. Been doing this podcast too long today. Says Bill de Blasio. They let him out of Rikers Island. They were released due to the concerns on coronavirus. It didn't take long, a day in some cases, for these guys to get back after it in earnest. You would think that after you got out of jail because of a technicality from coronavirus, you would be on your best behavior going forward and not act like an asshole. Right? And how does that work if they just let them out? Are their crimes like wiped off the face of the earth, like they can't be brought in? Or do they say, hey, when this all clears over, will you come back? I mean, how is this even happening? De Blasio said the number of reoffenders remains relatively small. I don't know about that. And that the city was buckling down on monitoring and supervising released prisoners. There's got to be a better way than just letting these people out into the public. We do see recidivism. I think that's the word. I have not seen a huge amount, but any amount is obviously troubling. We're going to keep buckling down on it. Well, fucking you buckling down, you have these people, and then you let them out. I mean, just got to be a better way. More than 1,400 city inmates have been granted early release due to concerns about the spread of the virus inside the jailhouses. Sunday, that at least 50 of the new released Rikers Island prisoners were rearrested for new crimes in recent weeks. Some cases were cut loose again. Oh, my God. City officials said more than 300 inmates and 500 correction department employees have tested positive for COVID-19, with at least 2 inmates killed by the virus. Again, it all boils down to this. What are you in for? If you are in for, I don't know, assault, murder, theft, well, roll the dice. You're just going to have to live with it. If it's a crime that's not violent, you don't get let out. I mean, if it's a crime that's not violent, then you could get let out. Violent offenders would have to stay. All right. Let me take a quick look at this. All right. Finally, 420 comes and goes. The community of Bath Township, Michigan, celebrated 420 with a post full of puns. I'm not exactly sure in the history on 420 or the time, but that's the thing to do. You basically just wake up, start smoking pot, and that's your day. April 20th, celebrated by many as an unofficial national day to smoke pot. Bath Township Police are reminding everyone that Michigan was under a stay-at-home order and social distancing is still recommended as Michigan fights the pandemic. The police Facebook page is known for its wit and comedy. I think we've read stuff of theirs in the past. The latest post features the hashtags, hashtag get your essential munchies curbside, hashtag not too long to go and we can enjoy a Corona on the beach, and hashtag. It also includes at least 14 references to marijuana. Try to follow along and spot them all. We'd not be doing our jobs if we didn't remind you all that social distancing is still important, the Post says. It's a joint effort between all of us, from Herb to Mary Jane. Do be cautious and avoid social gatherings such as potlucks. If you're out blazing some fall leaves or chatting with neighbors, make sure to stay on your side of the grass. Hash out issues with your family peacefully, even if they're acting like a little roach. God. Today is 420, which means we're closer to being able to hang out with our buds again, which will be pretty dope. So refer to the guidelines until then and stay safe. Thank you, community of Bath Township, Michigan. And my God, 10,000 reactions, 11,000 shares, and 800 comments. Damn it. Fuck. I would kill for that. I need that now. That's what I need for the Eric Zane Show podcast. You know what? I'm still getting reactions for that stupid chainsaw video from all around the globe now. It is approaching 600,000 views. I wish I had put that on my YouTube. I wouldn't be over here begging for you to watch my stupid videos. All right, folks, that is going to do it. I am fresh out of content and talent. I appreciate you for being on board. We're not done podcasting, though. I got the Patreon bonus podcast. All right. That's coming up a little bit later on after I get a cup of coffee. I do at 10 o'clock, actually. I forgot to do this. Yesterday, we weren't able to get to Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia with Dale, but we're going to do it at 10 a.m. today. Dale takes on Adam, 10 a.m. on Patreon. Patreon only. Dale takes on Adam for a chance to win $50 for Adam. Brought to you by Bennett Flooring Installation. If you want to play Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer trivia, you got to sign up on Patreon. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. That is it. Podcast is done. I'll talk to you down the road, folks. Remember, Michael Jordan sucks. Quick Kyle fade there.